Hi, I'm BJ, and this is the Arcane Alienist Podcast. Okay, I just want to record not a very long episode. I haven't put one out in a while. Uh, I put together, I tried to do a episode using Riverside just to go with the flow with what Spotify is offering us. I got frustrated. I had no trouble recording my thoughts on that. But when I got into the place where you try to use multiple files to put them together to actually create an episode, it was just not intuitive. I got frustrated pretty quick just because I couldn't find anything. Nothing made sense. I didn't feel like watching a bunch of instructional YouTube videos or anything like that. Particularly when I think about how when I first started podcasting, the Anchor app on my mobile phone did everything I needed it to do, and it took me about 15 minutes to figure out how to make it all work. It was that easy, and so now to be sitting in a web interface on my desktop, it's pretty frustrating. And I don't know why I didn't think about trying this before, because I have an iPhone and my desktop is a Mac. But I'm recording this in GarageBand. I figured out how I can use GarageBand to record a voice track, and instead of recording instrumental tracks, I can just mix in my intro, my outro, and any sound effects I want to use, as long as I can find the files. And most of those files are pretty easy to come by these days. So I think I'm going to do well doing this in GarageBand. This will be the first one that I try to do. And I hope that we can find some solutions. I know several of the kind of long-term Anchor podcasters are considered hanging it up. I know Joe Richter has talked about, not sure if he's going to survive the change. Same with Rob from Down in a Heap. I know Jason is stopping his Nerds RPG Variety Cast for now. Not so much over the technological issues, but just because he's done it for a long time and he feels like he needs a break. Although I think he announced on his last episode he may just take a month off and come back with a different kind of format, with a different approach to the podcast. And he'll still be part of, I believe, Cerebrivore, which I think I'm going to, as we relaunch it, try to get into the seat of the organizing it and putting it together and making sure it gets out. We'll still have multiple people talking on different panels on different topics, but I think I'm gonna try my hand at sort of coordinating everything. More Cerebrivore coming. Hopefully more Arcane Alien is coming. I'm about to go on a week-long trip. I'm going to chaperone my son's band trip as we visit some places. I may talk more about that when we get back. But I wanted to put out a quick episode while I had a few minutes to check to see if I can actually do it in GarageBand successfully. And then also, talk a little bit about the future. But I did have one topic I wanted to discuss, and that is what is in your mobile GM's kit. I think we all have this sort of idea. I don't know if we all do it. Several of us do. Of what am I going to do if suddenly we're just out and about somewhere and someone, hey, we got a few hours ago. Can you run a game of Dungeons and Dragons or a role playing game for us? And the thing is, with mobile devices, with PDFs, with electronic books, and with things being accessible like through things like Google Drives or Google Drives, Google Drive, it's pretty easy to get the books in your library organized in a way that you can do that. But then it's, well, what do you carry around with you besides that? And I know Jason has talked about, as well as I think Ray Otis has talked about, pocket dice. What are the minimum types of dice you have to carry around in your pocket in case you need to roll any kind of roll you would need? Of course, anybody who's got a mobile device, it's easy to find dice rolling apps. But I did put together a little kit to take with me on the trip, just in case that question comes up. It's going to be a lot of the kids that I play D&D with, and maybe some others who might want to jump in and see what it's like one night when we got a few hours to kill after we're back at the hotel. So what's in my mobile GM's kit? Well, my kit that I put together, again, any books or anything I would need is I can access electronically using my phone. So it's a little storage boxes they're black, kind of metal. They usually have like more of a silvered metal on the corners. They lock. There's a little lock box. Mine's about the size of a large pencil case. You can get them much bigger. People use them to store files in, and other equipment. But most of the times you can find them in office and school supply sections. I think you can get them at like Walgreens or Walmart, Target, places like that. So it's one of those. It's about, how big is this thing here? I don't have a ruler in front of me. I'm going to have to guess that it's probably 8.5 inches by maybe 6 inches. Anyway, but it's got a little. I don't use the lock. It's also got a latch. I've used that for a while to store things. I find that I don't use a DM screen anymore. I usually just have a notebook or something printed out that I'm just kind of holding in my lap. And this actually has been a part of my DM's kit for a while. I keep my pencils and dice in there. But what I found I could put in there for this is a small bag of dice, a complete dice set, some pencils, a couple of highlighters, a stack of index cards. If we're going to play a game, it's like, well, write your character stats and a couple notes on an index card. Index card RPG. The old suggestion from like BX or original D&D, basic D&D. A lot of times you can write everything you need to know about your character right on an index card. So, and I think that's true of a lot of simple rules light or games where there's just a few things you need to know about your character. So stack of index cards for things like that. And then I threw in there the deck of random dungeons, and a deck I got of side quests, side quest decks. So you can find those online, but they're just playing card size decks. They come in a box about the size that you put playing cards in. So I put those 2 decks in there. So assuming some people want to play something along the lines of fantasy, it's easy to just create a random dungeon, drawing cards, or come up with a side quest on those cards. I got those ideas from Daniel Norton from watching his YouTube channel, Watch Bandits Keep YouTube channel. He's got a lot of great stuff on there, particularly his solo play, using those in his solo play to come up with quests for his original D&D, or his version of OD&D is Unchained, OD&D with Chainmail, to generate dungeons and to generate quest ideas for the parties he plays through in his solo play. So be sure and check that out. You can see a good use of those cards. So that's what's in there. Those 2 decks of cards, some index cards, pencils, a couple of highlighters to highlight things you might want to draw attention to on a note card. And then I've also just carry with me just a small notebook. I use the kind of theme books like you might use in college or even in high school, to write. You write essays in, turn it in. It's not a full-sized, 8.5 by 11 notepad or notebook. It's one of the smaller ones. But that's what I got. Slips down in a backpack. I can take it with me wherever I go. Keep it in the room. Keep it on the tour bus. So yeah, that's my not necessarily pocket dice, but that's my mobile GM's kit, which is almost kind of my non-mobile GM's kit because it's got most of the stuff in there that I keep handy anyway. So that's it. Short episode. Looks like we're going to close here in just a little over 9 minutes by the time I finish talking. So I'll be back with another episode sooner or later, either here or on Cerebrivore. So keep a lookout for those. And until next time, wherever you are out there, take care of yourself. And whatever you do today, try to make somebody happy. Thanks for listening to the Arcane Alienist podcast. The music you're hearing is Come and Get It by Scott Holmes Music. The cover art is by Dave Bone. Be sure to check out his stuff at ironseer.com. You can leave me a message. I have my SpeakPipe account linked to the show description. You can also send me an email at arcane.alienist@gmail.com. Just embed a voice memo, or I'll just read the text to your email during a future episode. Once again, thanks so much for listening.